What is Islam? Episode 4, The Divine Law of the Rise and Fall of Nations. Why do we not prevail? Why do our peoples continue to suffer, scatter, and collapse, despite full mosques and loud sermons overflowing with displays of religiosity? This is the central question many avoid because it forces us to confront reality. The answer revealed by Quranic linguistics and divine laws is shocking. Our crisis is not a lack of religiosity in the traditional sense. It is a deep misunderstanding of the very concepts that determine whether nations survive or perish. To regain balance, we must peel away layers of inherited tradition and reach the core of the divine laws that favor no one. First truth, Iman is a social action granting security. When we examine the linguistic architecture of the Quran, we find that the verb amana is inherently transitive. It requires an object. Iman is not an internal mental state. It is granting security to others. Whenever the verb amana appears in the Quran without the divine name, it carries a purely social meaning, peace, safety, and trust. Even when connected to God, the doctrinal aspect remains implicit, while the primary social function remains. Al-Mu'min Billah is the one who grants security to his community, empowered by his creator. Consider the words of Joseph's brothers to their father. You will not be mu'min to us, even if we are truthful. They did not mean you will not believe us. They meant you will not grant us safety or trust in this matter. Thus, Iman is a security contract between you and existence. Without it, the first pillar of civilization collapses. Second truth, absolute injustice is what destroys nations. A widespread belief claims that past nations perished because their minds failed to reach certainty about God. But Quranic divine laws say something entirely different. God does not destroy communities for doctrinal shortcomings or intellectual doubts. He destroys them for injustice. In the verse, when they committed injustice, the Quran uses a linguistic miracle. The object is omitted. In Arabic, omitting the object implies absolute generality, meaning destruction occurs when injustice becomes universal, harming the self, the neighbor, the environment, animals, and society. Injustice is the only trigger that necessitates divine intervention to end a civilization, regardless of its religious identity. Those towns, we destroyed them when they committed injustice, and we set for their destruction an appointed time. 1859. Third truth, Idhan Allah, or God's permission, is the scientific infrastructure of the universe. Many imagine Idhan Allah, God's permission, as a random supernatural intervention that suspends natural laws. But in the Quranic worldview, Idhan Allah equals available possibilities embedded in physics, engineering, medicine, and natural law. God permitted the fish to breathe underwater by giving it gills. He did not permit humans to do so and except through another form of permission, knowledge, such as diving technology. When we say that security Iman happens only by God's permission, we mean you cannot secure a city from a hurricane or a pandemic through prayer alone. You secure it through God's permission, which manifests as meteorology, engineering, medicine, and scientific preparedness. The doctor grants safety because he possesses God's permission, knowledge. The engineer who builds a safe bridge practices Iman through physics. Without knowledge, we possess no permission to secure our lives. Fourth truth, messengers are human. Revelation is not a key to the unseen. We must move beyond mythologizing the messengers. The Quran presents them as humans who eat food and walk in markets. Messengers do not possess the keys to the unseen. They do not predict detailed events thousands of years ahead. The Quran quotes the messenger clearly, I do not know the unseen. Messengers are bound by time and humanity. Their mission is clear delivery, not control over destiny or the unseen. Fifth truth, the scales are based on actions, not identity. On the day of accountability, identities, Muslim, Christian, Jew, are left behind just like wealth. God does not judge ID cards. He judges states of action. The divine scale recognizes righteous action, and corruption/injustice. Thus, a shocking truth emerges. The criminal, mujrim, in the Quran is the opposite of the mu'min. If the mu'min grants security, the mujrim is the one who violates that security and practices injustice. Criminality in the Quran is a behavioral social category, not a sectarian label. Punishment is for the unjust, those from whose tongues and hands people were not safe. Reward is for those who granted security, regardless of their worldly identity. The responsibility of security is on our shoulders. The victory we seek is not a miracle descending from the sky. It is a social and scientific entitlement. We do not prevail because we have not fulfilled the condition of Iman in its true meaning. We have not granted security to our societies through justice, scientific advancement, and the laws of divine permission. Our destiny depends on how much we restrain injustice and how effectively we transform Iman from a slogan into a comprehensive system of securing humanity and the universe. And the question that tests our honesty is, if Iman is at its core granting security to others, how much security does the world receive from us today? Follow me, Khaled Al-Sayed Hassan, for more insights on the Islam and Iman channel. Peace be upon you.